I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the break.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. So last week we did Hump Day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And all the hooligans on the third floor busted in the studio.
It's Hump Day.
They threw wiffle balls at us.
Hump Day.
And by us, I mean me.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
They crushed us with silly string.
It's Hump Day.
Brain, did we ever find out where they got that silly string?
I believe it was a school fair.
It's the summer, Brain.
There's also no school.
Very true.
Like, even if it weren't the summer.
That's true. Nonetheless, they harassed me and I filed a complaint with HR.
Hump Day.
That's not true at all.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, Tim Brando in 1 hour from right now.
It's Hump Day.
Big Ten has its schedule. Timmy B calls games for Fox and the Pac-12 and the Big 12, and the Big Ten. So we will talk to Timmy B about that. 15 minutes. We'll talk to Gabe Fertitta, the head coach of High. Brain, you excited about that one? Get Gabe on the show? You excited? Huh?
I'm excited for you.
Okay. I mean, you do realize that Gabe Fertitta is the head coach at Catholic High. They had a Cur Dog Combine this past week, which is being lauded by a lot of people because it was a great opportunity to get their student athletes seen by a lot of recruiters in what has been a down recruiting time where coaches can't really see student athletes. They had a kid, a wide receiver, run a 4.34 40. It blew the doors off people. He got like 4 offers instantly because of that. So we'll talk about that with Gabe. And then also, if you missed it today, the LHSAA has made an announcement about the high school football season being likely delayed to October. We'll talk about that with Gabe. And Gabe coached Miles Brennan at Stanislaus in Mississippi. So maybe get a little projection on the LSU signal caller as well. So we're looking forward to that. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. A lot we'll get into. Every league that has returned to play has had players opt out. The NBA had players opt out of the bubble. Major League Baseball had some prominent players opt out. A lot of prominent pitchers, but players like Buster Posey for one reason or another. The NFL, as we've seen, has had opt-outs also. And that's starting, not unexpectedly, to bleed into college football. So thus far, Virginia Tech cornerback Caleb Farley has opted out. Yesterday, the big news was Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver from Minnesota, who is a projected first-round draft pick. He's opted out. And then Micah Parsons, who's a Penn State linebacker, said he won't play either. He'll just start getting ready for the NFL. And as I've said a million times, and it's worth repeating, anybody that opts out for whatever reason they have, totally respect that. In this, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, if people want to take utmost precautions or whatever it may be, if they choose to opt out, more power to you. You do what's best for you, and that's perfectly fine. One player who we now know will not opt out is LSU wide receiver Jamar Chase. Not that this was ever up in the air, but Jamar's father, Jimmy Chase, spoke to Go 24/7 and said of his son, quote, he's going to play the season out. He's locked in with his team. And as long as everyone is healthy, he said he wants to play with his team and his teammates. That's Fantastic. He went on to say, quote, he just loves the game. He loves LSU. He wants to finish his career in a positive manner. He also went on to say, when I bring it up, quote, he's like, Dad, I don't even want to talk about it. You know what that reminded me of? In June, we had Ryan Clark on the show. And I wanted to talk to Ryan then, not about as an NFL analyst, but I even told him, I said, I want Ryan Clark, the dad, to come on the show. Because Ryan's son, Jordan, of course, is a redshirt freshman at Arizona State. And I wanted to talk to Ryan about having played the game and obviously gone through his own personal health scares, what the conversations were like with Jordan about whether or not they would play. And keep in mind what Jimmy Chase said about his son, Jamar. Quote, when I bring it up, he's like, Dad, I don't even want to talk about it. I have to respect his decision. He's the one that's playing. Listen to what Ryan Clark said back in June about the conversations he and his wife had with Jordan about playing.
And you're going to think this is crazy. Like, we haven't had any conversations.
I don't think that's crazy.
Be totally honest with you, Jordan was in the kitchen one day, and we were talking about, just because it was on the news, about parents allowing their kids to play, or certain kids or certain young men not wanting to play college football. And Jordan said before the conversation even started, if there are games played, I'm playing. And I said, okay.
So think about the mindset of a player, right? So Jordan Clark said point blank before they even had the conversation, if there's games played, I'm playing. So you're going to see a lot of that. So I don't find it surprising at all, but it's still great news for LSU in 2020 to have Jamar Chase back, because we know Jamar Chase is going to be a first-round pick, and if he decided to opt out, then he could opt out, and he would still be a first-round pick, and it wouldn't matter. But he said that he's going to play, and this is massive for LSU for a lot of reasons, most notably because you have a new starting quarterback in Miles Brennan, and obviously you would very much like to know that you have the best receiver in college football for Miles Brennan to throw to, which will make his job in transitioning into a starting role even easier. So there's also this really interesting tidbit about what LSU's receiving room is going to look like with Jamar Chase back and who's after Jamar Chase. As a matter of fact, I've been asked this a bunch. Like, I think we all know you got Chase and you got Marshall and you got McMath, but then after that, it's this big question mark. And when Ed Ogeron was off the bench yesterday, the guys did ask him that question about receivers. And the really interesting part, and you'll hear Ed say this at the end, is he wants got to play a bunch of guys because next year it's going to be a totally different room.
As many as we can, let them play.
Absolutely.
5 wide, rotate them in there, get those young guys in there, let them play, give them snaps. You know, we're not going to have Jamar Chase after this year, so I got to get guys ready. But Terrence Marshall, I don't know what he's going to do. So these are the guys I'm always thinking about the future, getting guys ready. Obviously, win now to prepare for the future and get these young guys ready to step in.
So understanding after this year, you're not going to have Chase, Marshall, and McMath as well, who's entering a senior year. Like, you're going to lose your top 3 guys. So you better get some of those younger guys ready. You heard Ed say it. 5 wide, rotate them in. Let's see who can play. When you think about a year ago, LSU had 6 receivers catch double-digit passes. I'm not including Thad Moss or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm talking about wide receivers. 6 wide receivers catch double-digit passes. Jefferson had 111, Chase had 84, Marshall had 46, and then McMath, Dillon, and Sullivan were your other 3. Racy had 17, Derek Dillon had 15, and Stephon Sullivan had 12. So I think you could just get 2 columns, and you could see, okay, well, you had your top 3 a year ago with Jefferson, Chase, Marshall. And very clearly this year you're going to have Chase, Marshall, McMath. Those are going to be your top 3. The question is, who are the next 3? And you've got 2 different groups of 3 players each. You've got 3 returning veterans with Trey Palmer, John Trey Kirkland, and Jeray Jenkins. And then you got 3 incoming freshmen with Keyshawn Boutte, Coy Moore, and Alex Adams. For me, it will be really fun to watch which of those 6, because there's going to be likely, just look at last year's season, how it went. You're likely going to, even in that rotation, you can't rotate 9 receivers, but you can certainly rotate 5, 6 guys like that. With Chase and Marshall likely on the field, permanently. But will Trey Palmer be the guy? The coaches love Trey Palmer. Will the best player in Louisiana from this year, Kayshon Boutte, emerge in his freshman season and become a 15, 20, 30 catch guy? Possibly. Could he match what Terrace Marshall did a year ago with 46, or will maybe look like what Racey McMath did last year at 17? That, for me, is going to be really interesting. But the other part of it, too, is what does Jamar Chase do for an encore? Now, I went and looked this up today. The Biletnikoff has been given out every year since 1994. So a quarter century. Bobby Ingram won the first Biletnikoff in 1994, and he did return in 95, but he didn't win it, despite having better numbers across the board. There wasn't a returning winner again until Antonio Bryant, who won it in 2000, came back in 01 and saw all of his numbers drop. Now, Michael Crabtree and Justin Blackmon each won it twice. They're the only receivers to win the Biletnikoff twice. Crabtree won it in 07 and 08. Blackmon won it with Oklahoma State in 2010 and 2011. You had Marquise Lee win it in 2012 and return in 2013. His numbers plummeted. 118 catches down to 57, 1,700 yards down to 791, 14 touchdowns down to 4. And then Jerry Jeudy returned last year and saw all of his numbers. Well, he saw his catches go up, but his yards, he still had a great season, 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. So 6 times in the history of the award, Jamar will be the 7th. 6 times has the winner of the Biletnikoff come back for another season. 2 of them won it again, Blackmon and Crabtree. 3 of them saw their numbers decline. Marquise Lee, Antonio Bryant, Jerry Jeudy, but Jeudy still had a really good year. And only 1 saw his numbers improve but not win it, and that was Bobby Ingram. So there's history there for Jamar Chase, trying to become just the 3rd Biletnikoff winner ever to repeat. But history also shows that, generally speaking, when you come back after your Biletnikoff season, your numbers aren't as good. It's a big challenge for Jamar Chase, and one he appears ready to tackle, according to his dad, who said Chase has no interest in opting out. He will play for the Tigers in 2020. It is, of course, though, worth noting that Jamar Chase isn't going to have 15 games this year like he did a season ago. The max he could play would be 13 this season, so maybe the per-game average would be better to look at after this year. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Glad you are hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll chat with Gabe Fertitta, the head coach over at Catholic High. They, of course, had their Cur Dog Combine, and several players blew up, and their recruitment is subsequently blown up. But also want to talk about the LHSAA's decision today, delaying the start of the football season, and want to get some thoughts on Miles Brennan as well from Gabe, who coached Brennan back at St. Stanislaus in Mississippi. Glad you're with us on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. If you get to the website, you can find out all the information you need. You can find out information about virtual visits. That's right. You want to see your healthcare provider, but you're leery of leaving your home amid the COVID outbreak? Great. Virtual visits are available through the Baton Rouge General. You need an emergency room? Fantastic. The Baton Rouge General has expanded its options and its reach in Baton Rouge. They've reopened the ER at the Mid-City location. Of course, they've got all their express care locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. Download the Baton Rouge General mobile app. You can see wait times at all of their express care locations and Surgery Fast Pass. If you're having a procedure done, you can have a registration with a touchless experience prior to your surgery. The fact of the matter is the Baton Rouge General has implemented comprehensive plans to keep you safe and healthy amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Learn more. brgeneral.org.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Now, Bray, you know we've got Gabe Fertitta, the head coach of the Catholic High Bears, coming on the show right now. How in the world could you possibly bump us into this segment with anything other than the greatest fight song known to man?
No.
Brain,
come on. Don't make me do it.
Brain. Do it, Brain. Yeah! Sing it, Brain. All you do with the triumph on the hill. Big brewing goes on here. Ring for the Bears will never fail. They were all out for victory, no matter what the cost. Come on, Brain, sing it. Life for victory till the last drive. Brain, you didn't give me anything there?
I don't know the words to that song.
Yeah, you do. You've heard me sing
Unless
it
the
enough.
first line is "Let's sing St. Paul's the victory." No, cheer St. Paul's the victory.
Hey, where did you steal St. Paul's fight song from? Is it
St. Paul's wasn't stolen.
No, yeah, is it Notre Dame's? Is it LSU's?
No,
Yeah, I'm sure it is. We'll give it a listen. We know you stole it. That's okay. All right, Gabe Fertitta joins us, head coach of the Catholic High Bears. Coach, how are you, man?
Matt, doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Always our pleasure. So we got a lot to cover, but most notably, I wanted to have you on because you did something really cool late last week. You called it the Cur Dog Combine. For those that didn't see it and aren't aware, what was the idea behind it?
So originally, our offensive coordinator from last year, Hudson Fuller, who's worked at LSU and worked at TCU and has been in recruiting departments and things like that, he and I were talking in January, and we said, we really should do something that can showcase our kids and let college coaches see them. So the original idea was that we were going to host this thing in May at the very end of the open recruiting season for the NCAA and invite all these college coaches, and they'd be able to come out there and watch the whole thing. They could time guys with their own stopwatch. We'd put them through drills. They could watch it. And that was the original idea that he and I had. And then, of course, in March, the best laid plans of mice and men, you know, the coronavirus came and put all of that on hold. So we sat on it for a while and then decided that we were going to do it and host it somewhat virtually. It's not like they were able to watch it live. So the NCAA is in a dead period now. They can't come on campus. They can't see our kids in person. Our kids can't go to their campus. So the idea this past week was we were going to do the whole dog and pony show, host our own, essentially like a college recruiting camp, and video the entire thing, and then be able to send that out to the college coaches.
So was this how was it received?
I mean, it's been unbelievable, the reception from the kids that were able to participate, from the parents of those kids who were able to, you know, participate and then have that raw data and the video to verify the data. You know, one of the things from the college coaches is they pick up the phone, they call the high school coach, and they say, you know, hey, tell me about Johnny. And the high school coach says, yeah, he's 6'4", he's, you know, 210 pounds, and he runs a 4.40, you know. And those college coaches have to, most of the time, divide by 2 to get to the real height and weight and 40 time, you know. So
Right.
what this allowed us to do, is have full-on video verification of when they want to recruit a kid. They know exactly how tall he is and all that. So the college coaches that I've talked to, it's been really well received as well, because it's helping them do their jobs. You know, they're under the gun to recruit kids, and we're under the gun to help our kids get recruited. So it's been very well received thus far.
Are other Gabe Fertitta is our guest. Are other programs around the area or country that you've spoken of or aware of trying to do something similar as a result?
So, you know, in football, there's a joke, like there's nothing new under the sun. Like nobody has an original idea. That
Right.
never happens. And through social media, through coaches that I've been in contact with at clinics and, you know, visits of colleges around the country and all that, there's a few programs, one in particular in Ohio, Washington Massillon, which is actually the oldest high school football team in America. Paul Brown, actually, I think is who was the coach there. You know, the Cleveland Browns, Paul Brown. They host their own combine, like we were saying, during that NCAA period where the coaches can see it. And I talked to one of their coaches and saw some video from what they did. So they do it. There's a couple of schools in Texas that do it. And as a matter of fact, West Feliciana, where Hudson Fuller is the head coach now, they did their own a week or so before we did.
Oh, cool.
We were just able to pull it off with a little bit, you know, bigger and more media coverage and that kind of thing, just because of some of the recruits and things that we have. But, you know, I think the thing I'm most proud of is we were able to do all of that and help the kids and have a great event. And, man, there was media all over the place interviewing our kids and stuff. That was great. But we're also able to do it and show people that you can do this and social distance and do all those things the way that we're supposed to. And you don't have to cut corners and you know, do things that you shouldn't be doing.
Gabe Fertitta for a couple more minutes. He's on Twitter at Fertitta_Gabe, head coach at Catholic High. They had their Cur Dog Combine this past week. And, of course, you got several high-profile athletes on your team. Of course, Emory Jones has an LSU offer. He's joined us on the show. But the showstopper has to have been Shelton Sampson. Guy went out and ran a 4.35 40. Fill me in here, Coach. He's a rising junior, and I just fill me in. I mean, because this guy went from, I guess, relative unknown, right, to now Florida State, Mississippi State, Virginia. I mean, he's got major offers now based on this combine.
Correct. Yeah, so Shelton's actually a rising sophomore. He played and started. Yeah, he started in some games for us last year as a freshman. He barefooted 6'4", so measure him barefoot. We got the video proof of him. He's 6'4" with no shoes on. And he ran his first 40, and we had 2 stopwatches on each 40 track. There was 2 tracks the guys ran on. So he runs his first 40, and both coaches stop the watch. And in one of the videos, you can hear one of our coaches say, "No, no." And he says, "You show me yours, I'll show you mine." And so they show each other the clock, and they both dead on had 4.35. So then I said, "No, I don't believe it." So he ran his second one. Every kid ran 240s. And his second one, we had 3 watches. He ran 4.39 dead on the other 2 coaches, and I had him at 4.40 on my watch. So he's extremely talented. His dad, a lot of people our age would know, Shelton Sampson, who played at Redemptress and played at Northwestern State, was a dynamite running at Redemptress back in the day. Shelton's a phenomenal kid, great grades, super, dual sport athlete, plays basketball. He's just really a great kid. And he performed really well at the combine. And I've been telling people about him, hey, you gotta, and I'm just telling them. Well, the proof was in the combine. And once they saw it, a lot of people started gaining interest.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, if you just scroll his Twitter, I mean, it's like he's got the Tulane offer, and he's got the Southern Miss offer, and he's got the Mississippi State offer, and he's got the Florida State offer, the Virginia. It's like
offered him 2 hours after he crossed the tape on the finish line.
That's Bronco Mendenhall, huh?
Correct.
Yeah, smart guy. Right. So what about LSU?
They know about him. I talked to Kevin Falk, who recruits our school, and they know about him. They have been, asking me about him and all that. They haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'll be surprised if by the end of all of this, he doesn't have an LSU offer as well. LSU has to be a little bit slower on the in-state guys, just because, if they offer an in-state guy at Catholic High and then have to pull that back, that ain't good.
Right.
If Virginia does that, however many thousand miles away they are, and they pull it back, it isn't as big of a deal. So typically LSU's a little slower on some of our in-state guys, and they need to be, and I understand why. So,
a couple more things for you. Speaking of LSU, you got a long history with Miles Brennan from his days back at Stanislaus. I don't know if you've been able to keep in touch with him at all this offseason, but maybe expectation entering his 4th season and first year as a starter at LSU?
Yeah, Miles and I keep in touch a pretty good bit, when he's not busy and I'm not busy. But,
So you never talk?
Cam Cameron. Yeah, we talk. Yeah, we talk. Cam Cameron called me when Miles was a senior and said, "Man, tell me about this kid," and all that. And I'll say this and I'll say it again. I've said it 100 times about Miles. Don't let the surfer boy looks fool you. He is tough as nails. He is a tough, hard-nosed kid. Even though he's got the blondie surfer boy California look, he's a good old backwoods Mississippi kid, And I think people would be crazy if they expect him to go out and be Joe Burrow 2.0. I mean, think about Joe Burrow's first year at LSU. It was not the statistical anomaly it was in year 2, but Miles is certainly capable of doing a whole lot in that offense. And a quick short story on that: we were studying some LSU tape, some offensive tape, and there was one particular concept that I really liked, and I had a couple of questions about it. So I texted Miles and said, "Hey, call me. I got a question about this passing concept." So he called me. And I said, "Hey, look, I don't want to take up much of your time. I got 2 questions. Tell me about this concept. What's the progression on the coverage, and then about the protection and what?" And he rattled off protection checks and coverage checks and adjustments to receiver routes like I was talking to, Joe Brady himself or something, So I fully expect he's got the command of the playbook, the offense, all of that. He's a football junkie, so I think he's going to do dynamite this year.
Going to get a lot of people excited about it. Coach, we're hoping we get to see the Bears and every other high school football team on the field this fall. Saw the LHSAA today earlier announced, you tell me if I'm wrong, that the high school football season won't start until the earliest October?
That's correct. I think a lot of people on social media assume, like, man, all right, we got a start date. We're starting on October the 8th, which is a Thursday. And what that means is that's the earliest we could possibly start. If we don't move through the phases the way that the governor wants us to move through those phases, and we stay in phase 2 longer than we're supposed to, or we stay in phase 3 longer than we're supposed to, that October the 8th date is going to continue to get kicked back because we have tied our playing in the LHSAA to the phases of the governor. So if we don't move through the phases, if people don't wear their mask, if people don't social distance, if they don't wash their hands and do all the things that they're asking us to do, and these cases don't go down, the high school football season is going to keep getting kicked down the road, and our guys aren't going to get to play. So wash your hands, wear your masks, stay 6 feet away, do those things, because we got a bunch of 16, 17-year-old kids that need to play this sport that they're not going to get to play again, the vast majority of them. You know, you can't just pick up and go play a football game when you're 35 years old. You can play baseball, you can play basketball. This is it for a lot of these guys, and we're counting on people to do what they need to do so we can play.
Well said. Is there any talk about potentially making up games, just starting the season later? Or I know we discussed earlier that that October start, if that's what it is, the whole month of September's gone, those games won't be made up?
Right. So they haven't given us any direction on that yet, although I know that they're discussing it. So that's week 6 of the LHSAA season. My hope is that they say, okay, we can back up the final championship game date to whatever that date is, and then say they're able to slide that back 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Well, then that would give us week 5 and week 4 as well. So we could play week 4 on October the 9th instead of week 6. And I think that they want to, I mean, everybody wants to get on the LHSAA and say what they want, but bottom line, they want our kids to play as many games as they can play. So I think they're going to do everything they can to give us as meaningful a season as they can. And I'm optimistic in that. I believe we're going to play. When we're going to play, how many games we're going to play, nobody knows.
He's Gabe Fertitta, Catholic High head football coach. Busy week over there for the Bears. He's on Twitter at Fertitta_Gabe. Y'all give him a follow. We appreciate the time, Coach. All the best, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me on, Matt. Go Bears.
Always our pleasure. We'll see you. That is Gabe Fertitta. This is After Further Review. We'll go around the SEC next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. So no matter where you are in greater Baton Rouge, there's a Clegg's Nursery location near you. If you want to go get in your garden and just plant something, it's an awesome time to do it. It's August the 5th, but you know we're going to have a couple more months of summer-like weather. So if you're quarantined, if you've been avoiding public places, but you still want to get outside and enjoy some fresh air, get by Clegg's. Let their horticulturists help you. Get a pallet of flowers or plants, trees, shrubs, whatever it may be to add that pop of color to your garden or beautify the exterior of your home. Clegg's can help you do it. And remember, Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. If mosquitoes are a problem at your house, this is an affordable way to be done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. Spartan Mosquito Eradicator from Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, It would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
So one level of college football has officially canceled its football season. Division III fall sports championships have been canceled. So remember that the NCAA does govern the lower levels of football, not the FBS. They're all independent, as we're seeing. We're seeing every league release essentially its own format, its own schedule, its own timeline. They all govern themselves, and then they outsource their championship to the college football playoff. The NCAA is sort of the policing arm, but as far as organizing the championship of the season, the NCAA does not do that for football, except in the lower levels. Well, the NCAA, the Board of Governors, was meeting, and they about the football season, and they ultimately kicked it down to the Division I Board of Directors, who then kicked it down again and ultimately said, hey, we'll let each division, the President's Council, make their own decision. So the NCAA is what we knew, a bunch of spineless you-know-what sitting in their ivory tower collecting fat checks. But the Board of Governors wouldn't make a decision, so they kicked it down to the Board of Directors, who then kicked it down to the Division Council. So essentially they said, hey, Division III, make your own decision if you want to play or not. And the Division III Council today decided they're not going to play. And Tori Murden McClure, who's the chair of the President's Council for Division III, she's the president at Spalding University, said, quote, our championships committee reviewed the financial and logistical ramifications if Division III fall sports championships were conducted in the spring and found it was logistically untenable and financially prohibitive. Our management council reached the same conclusion. So effectively, she said, we can't make it work financially or logistically to have a spring season, and we can't afford to have a season in the fall because we can't keep up with the testing. So we're just going to cancel. So the NCAA is spineless because they couldn't make this decision themselves. They basically said, no, you make the decision. No, it's like hot potato, back and forth with the board of governors, the board of directors. Why do you even exist? I digress. But tip of the cap to the chair of the President's Council in Division III, who at least acknowledged the real issues, which are logistical issues and financial issues, which are going to preclude Division III from playing, which is the same reason you're seeing a lot of FCS programs and leagues move their season, hopefully, to the spring or cancel altogether, because it's a logistical and financial issue that they can't keep up. So that's unfortunate for Division III, and we'll see if Division II follows a similar path. But it's after further review. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Check out our friends over at GMFSmortgage.com. If you're buying a home, building a home, or looking to refinance your mortgage. I mean, right now, even amid the COVID-19 pandemic, GMFS Mortgage continues having record months because so many of you are doing what I'm suggesting, which is you're calling GMFS Mortgage, you're getting a local loan officer to see if you can save money by refinancing your mortgage. If you know your rate's above a 4, or it's been so long since you checked that you're not even sure what your rate is, my goodness, please reach out to one of the GMFS loan officers to see if they could lower your monthly mortgage payment by lowering your interest rate. Save you money every single month. More money in your pocket. It's like giving yourself a raise. It's GMFSmortgage.com. Remember those 4 letters. GMFS Mortgage. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian got himself a healthy raise. He made $1.65 million in his first year back at Alabama, but the Board of Trustees has approved a salary raise to $2.5 million per year. This after Sark was courted by Colorado, Mississippi State, and others for their head coaching gigs. $2.5 million ties Sarkisian annually with Kevin Steele of Auburn as the highest paid assistants in college football.
The Auburn Tigers.
Former Auburn punter Aiden Marshall, who was the starting punter in 2017 and was the starter for the opener in 2018, he's back with the team. Now, Marshall had left the team during 2018 after he lost the starting job to Aaron Sipos. Well, Marshall remained enrolled at Auburn, finished his degree. Well, last week, Marshall was approached by members of Auburn staff saying, hey, Gus Malzahn wants you back on the team. Auburn was entering the season without a scholarship punter on the roster. That's changed now. Marshall back with the Auburn football team. He's punted in 11 games over his 2 seasons on the Plains.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And Mike Leach picked up his 14th commit for the class of 2021. 6'5", 292-pound offensive lineman Gabe Cavazos out of Mississippi. He announced his commitment on Wednesday morning. Cavazos had offers from Arkansas State, Memphis, Middle Tennessee, and South Alabama. He is the 3rd player to commit to Mississippi State in the past week. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Mandeville. They got offices all over South Louisiana. So if you're a business owner, you want a better relationship with your business equipment provider, face-to-face sales, service after the sale, it's Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. It is After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Tim Brando is going to join us in 16 minutes from right now to start hour 2. We'll talk to Timmy B. The Big Ten has now released its schedule, so we know how their 10-game conference-only schedule is going to look in the Big Ten. Want some reaction to that from Tim Brando and what this means, good or bad, winners and losers, and the big grand scheme of college football as we move into the fall. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. It is a Whiskey Wednesday, so Taylor Calandro will join us next. Talk some brown water. Get your booze questions. Get them in. Tweet me at Matt Moscona at 1045ESPN. Email me, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can jump at the Bayou Ford Huddle, or the YouTube chat is there as well on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Glad you're hanging out here on a Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
And we are brought to you by Pluckers, and as I look up right now, we got live action. You've got Major League Baseball. You've got the NBA bubble going on right now. My goodness, if you love sports and you have missed sports and you want to watch live sports, is there anything more Americana than walking into Pluckers, plopping down at the bar, ordering an ice-cold draft beer and a whole mess of wings and chowing down, shoving barbecue wings in your face, or if you want the buffalo sauce, or if you want spicy ranch dipped in blue cheese or ranch, pick your favorite. It doesn't matter. You can get a side of fries, a side salad if you really want to, or you can just absolutely binge. Get some guapo dip. Get holy macaroni, fried chunks of mac and cheese. Are you kidding me? Blocks of fried golden macaroni and cheese. It's at Pluckers. We've missed sports. It's time to binge again on sports and on wings. Pluckers. Nicholson Bluebonnet Dine-In Carry Out. Pluckers.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, let's do it. Taylor Calandro joins us. Of course, you can check out our friends at Calandro's, 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Seguin and Perkins, and right down the street from us on Government if you want to learn more about the brown water, the devil's juice, or whatever it may be. Great opportunity to do so. What's up, man?
I'm having an awful time, man.
Why?
I'm sitting on the beach.
Why didn't you tell me you were at the beach?
Why would I tell you?
Well, because then we could have skipped the segment this week.
Dude, I don't care. I'm sitting on the beach.
Okay.
Great.
What are you drinking on the beach?
I've been drinking seltzers, actually, but
this is gonna be fun.
What now? Liquor-wise, I've been drinking rum.
Is there a whiskey that you would drink outdoors when it's hot?
Oh, that's a tough question because I like drinking whiskey like a little cooler outside. It would have to be something like, you know what, Angel's Envy Rye.
So you throw it on ice though, make it a little chilled.
Yeah, but Angel's Envy Rye is so much like rum. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's finished in rum casks. It's so syrupy. But I'm with you. The thing that I would do if it was hot outside, maybe like if I were to drink like a mint julep or something like that, I could do that. That's cheating a little bit, but because it's a cocktail. But I could do that.
When we were in Ireland 2 years ago during the summer, everybody was drinking Jameson and ginger ale, and it's really good and refreshing. Jameson and ginger ale on ice.
Interesting. Jameson and ginger ale. Okay.
Sounds weird, but it works.
Hey, I saw this story since you're by the beach. There was a 1941 shipwreck off the coast of Scotland, and they salvaged bottles of whiskey from this shipwreck. And like, honest to goodness, true story. Hey, is it raining where you are?
I'm by the beach, but I'll move.
Okay, yeah, it's way better there.
All right, better?
Not really, but it's okay. Yeah, it is better. So they salvaged bottles of whiskey, and it's like in 1987 they had a diving excursion to salvage these bottles of whiskey, and one sold at auction this last week for like $28,000 for $28,000. How much would you pay for a bottle of whiskey that? By the way, it's not available appropriate for human consumption. By the way, but how much would you pay for a bottle of whiskey that was buried in the ocean for 80 years?
Well, it depends on if it was drinkable. If it was drinkable, I'd pay a lot for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's not available for human consumption or appropriate for human consumption.
Then I would not pay anything for it.
Why not? It's kind of a cool novelty.
Yeah, but I mean, whiskey's made for drinking.
That's a great point. Speaking of which, I got an email from a listener who said he wants to surprise his girlfriend, who he wants to have like a stock the bar for her. And he said, he's got $300 for his budget total. What should he buy? I'll leave it wide open for you. What would you suggest?
Well, does the girlfriend drink whiskey?
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's all things, but he was asking me specifically for whiskey help.
One of the Wild Turkey Master Keep series. Those are cool bottles. I think the one currently right now is the rye. I think it's like a 17-year rye. I can't remember what the age is on it, but those run about $200.
Now I went a different tack. I said, like, let's maximize she's trying to stock the bar, like starting from zero. So I'm like, let's get as many good things as possible on there for as little amount as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you could buy 6-7 good bottles for that price.
Right.
For around $300 for sure.
What would you give me a few that you'd recommend that would be a good variety?
I'd start with Blade and Bow, Basil Hayden, some Four Roses, single barrel. That's about $50.
Yep.
If you wanted to go up from there, some Whistle Pig, obviously, one of your favorites.
Yep.
Trying to think, just to cover all the bases. definitely Booker's, like a barrel proof.
Yeah. Get some proof, yeah.
If you go from Basil Hayden to Booker's, that's both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, completely different.
Everything in between. Yeah.
So I even recommended, like, if you wanted to maximize your dollar value, I was like, you could do Buffalo Trace, Sazerac Rye, Elijah Craig Small Batch. I mean, that's 3 bottles right there that you'd spend $70 max total on all those.
Absolutely. In between Buffalo Trace and Elijah Craig, just regular small batch, there are no better bargains in alcohol, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Under 20. I mean, Buffalo Trace is under $25 and Elijah Craig's under $30. I would challenge anybody to find something better than that under $30.
The only thing that I would say is close, and I got like 30 seconds, that the old tub that Jim Beam released was magnificent, and it's $20.
I still haven't tried it.
You got to try it.
You keep talking about it. I do. I can't believe I haven't tried it. But.
Or you and I will do it together. We'll do a side-by-side of the Elijah Craig Small Batch and the old tub, and I defy you to tell me that old tub isn't better than Elijah Craig.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll definitely do that with you because I don't believe you.
All right. You will do it on our next podcast. How about that?
Perfect.
All right, dude. Enjoy the beach, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
All right. That is Taylor Calandro, Bourbon Dictionary. Go see our friends over at Calandro's, but Taylor's at the beach, so you won't see him right now. Tim Brando next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and reliefwindows.com. Love telling you about their energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. If you're building a home, do it right the first time. I actually have a relative built their home 5 years ago, and they have windows where the setting around the windows is already starting to rot. 5 years. Built the home 5 years ago, and they already need to replace it. And the thing that Brandon Holly says all the time is, hey, if you're building a home, do it right the first time. Do it right the first time, and you're set for life. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little more, but you're not going to be 5 years down the road in your new home trying to replace your windows. Do it right the first time. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. And Relief Windows is hiring. So if you know someone who's looking for work that wants a career instead of a job, Relief Windows or reliefwindows.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. and I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
About to crank up hour 2 of After Further Review. Very quickly, though, a Sports Center update for you. The NBA said today that it has no positive test results for the coronavirus from any of their 343 players tested in the Orlando, Florida bubble since the last update on July 29th. This was the third consecutive update in which the NBA said it had no tests on its campus, dating back to when the league announced its initial batch of results from the bubble back on July 13th. Going on right now in the NBA, oh, by the way, the Jazz have an 8-point lead over the Grizzlies in the fourth. The 76ers are up 38-36 over the Wizards. And the Nuggets have a 51-49 lead over the Spurs. One game going on in Major League Baseball right now. The Yankees have a 3-2 lead over the Phillies. And yes, DJ LeMahieu already has 2 hits in that game. Hour 2 of After Further Review coming your way right now.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the Brain. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. College football schedule starting to crystallize. We know the ACC has already released its schedule, waiting on the SEC. Today, we got word how the Big Ten will look. Who better to talk to than our friend Tim Brando, Fox Sports, of course, calls games with the Big 12, the Big Ten, the Pac-12. Timmy B, we always appreciate a couple of minutes. Hope you and the family are well.
Thank you, Matt. You caught me at a good time. It's great to be with you.
Well, we appreciate you every time we can get you on for a couple of minutes. So you saw the schedule today. Your initial reaction was?
Well, there's wiggle room. You know, the bottom line is there's not really that many compelling matchups as it relates to the opening weekend of college football in the Big Ten, but they are starting on time in terms of, that first week in September. And it's fairly clear that what the Big Ten had in mind when they decided to use the protocol of playing only within their league, that they would give themselves an opportunity that if a certain team or teams fell into some difficulty and they needed to move those games, they would have wiggle room from the very beginning, which is a different tact, obviously, than the SEC, who decided to wait, allow the optics of what's taking place early on to be what they are, so that if there is an issue and there's massive outbreaks, then, maybe they don't even play it down. But the optics look good. It's ultimately, Matt, everyone in every league is going to do their own thing, and no one from any league, even though they may say wonderful things about one another publicly, will ever admit to any other league having a better idea than them. It's all about taking care of your own, and regardless of how much collegiality any of them suggested that they've had through these last 5 months, the one thing that we've learned that's been not so refreshingly consistent is the level of inconsistency and the inability for any of the conferences to look at the other and say, yeah, let's do that in a unified manner. That's what I take away from what we've seen so far.
Is there – look, Tim, there's one thing that's abundantly clear. If anyone doubted the lack of uniformity in college football, this is it. You'll have 5 Power 5 leagues all doing different things at different times. Is there a way, though, that you see that even in spite of the differences, that we collectively could still get to December and have college football playoff semifinals that look like they're supposed to look, even though everyone's going to arrive there in a different manner?
Well, nothing's going to look the way they're supposed to look. I don't think that anything about this upcoming college football season is going to remotely look similar. But I do believe that the infrastructure, in terms of those that are doing the grunt work on campus, the work of the coaches and the people that are involved with the health codes of both counties and or parishes in Louisiana and elsewhere, are doing the best that they absolutely can. You know, there's the big news now about what's transpired at Rutgers after a party that took place off campus. Haven't we heard that before from Tiger Town? Mm-hmm. It was just months ago that happened. Similar situation at Clemson, but they've all come back healthy. This notion of doom and gloom and, oh my gosh, they can start, but they'll never stop. That is the byproduct of a daily, almost hourly media that wants to take the latest breaking story and then underscore it with nothing but doom and gloom. And how dare these adults put these young men in a position of peril? The fact that now we do have some players that are speaking up, and by the way, they deserve to speak up. Frankly, I want to hear from more of them. Mm-hmm. And whether it's about concerns for their health or the reasons why they're opting out, I've got no problem with that, Matt. I mean, I don't. But the overwhelming fact is that most of these athletes, even those at schools where they don't have the same amenities as the Power Five, you know, they don't have necessarily a full cost of attendance. These guys want to play if they can because they have a chance to improve their stock and move on with their lives. They've been accustomed to the regimentation of football for a long time. Take that away, and they could be in peril in a different manner. I think that we're just seeing something transpire that none of us have, and I think the closer we get to getting something accomplished, the more we decide to find what's wrong with this process as opposed to what potentially could be right with it. And frankly, everyone that's involved is doing this for the very first time. There was no manual or guide for any athletic director, any conference commissioner, or any head football coach for how to handle something like this. I mean, these are uncharted waters for everyone, even for those of us that, you know, are hoping to broadcast games, but don't know if we may.
You know, and Tim Brando is our guest. One of maybe the unintended positive consequences of what we're seeing transpire is, you know, when you look at that, I'm sure you did like we all did today, you look at that schedule grid from the Big Ten and you see all conference games.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty tantalizing, right? I mean, the fact that there aren't any layups, any non-conference layups is really intriguing. Tim, do you think that, and you and I speak the same language on a lot of this stuff, but do you think that even though it took COVID to get here, that this might be the open door into something like this that's more permanent, meaning more Power 5 games, less of the gimme games? Like, it was unconventional how we got here, but we got here.
Yeah, that's twofold in my mind, Matt. The one thing that we do have to take into consideration as it relates to Division I college football is, you know, those that are in the group of five, the so-called cupcakes, if you will, that have been kicked to the curb or thrown under the bus, you know, use whatever stereotypical line you want to use, they have played a major role in allowing the Power Five to have the additional seventh home game that the presidents voted on having some time ago. And, you know, if the SEC and the ACC want to continue to play 8 conference games only, you know, they need to have enough of these teams out of the group of 5 in business so they can schedule a seventh home game. You can't do it unless you've got them intact. Now, I think there's a great number of schools that fall into the FBS category that if they don't get to play or if they run into a situation where they try to play but bankrupt themselves in doing so because they're losing all those money games that were available to them, they'll either have to drop the sport altogether or move to the FCS level. And maybe we could see the potential of this is perhaps we could see a breakdown in the divisions. Other than the American Conference, which has a $1 billion long-term deal with ESPN, each one of those schools, including Tulane, by the way, which is in the American, they get roughly $6 million plus per year annually for their television rights. Now, that's not happening in Conference USA or the Sun Belt or the Mid-America Conference or the Mountain West. I think the potential for them to jump up with the endowments and the donors they have at places like Houston, UCF, Memphis, Cincinnati, I think the potential is there for them to possibly move up. But the others might move out, move down or move out. And if that is, in fact, the case, and we do see 10 or 9 conference games being played by the ACC and the SEC in the future, joining the Big Ten and Pac-12 that already do that, and the Big 12, then good. But the other thing that could be done in terms of how we got there is expand the playoff. If they had expanded the college football playoff to 8 teams, maybe they wouldn't find themselves in the financially vulnerable position they're in today, that we're saying you can't afford not to play college football, either in the fall or the spring. We have been in a situation in intercollegiate athletics and specifically college football for a long time where there's been money left on the table because of the lack of a progressive attitude about the actual product and what it's worth from those that govern the game. If we had an extra round of inventory right now, and you could say because the committee with the schedules being the way they are simply cannot come up with 4 teams. We can't do it. What if a team out of the Big 12 is 10-0 and a team out of the Big 10 is 9-1 and a team out of the SEC is 8-2? But you know what? They're the SEC. How do you keep one of those teams or a second team out of the Big 10 or the SEC out? It's unfathomable to me that the committee could come up with the right 4 teams this year of all years. So why not because the schedules ultimately are about where we thought they would be for all the teams, 11 games in the ACC, 10 plus 1, 9 plus 1 in the Big 12, 9 plus 1 in the ACC, and 10 conference games only in the SEC. Why not just say it? Right now's the time to do it. Pac-12, similar situation. Let the 5 champions play. Then give me 2 wild cards and a group of 5 that a team like a UCF or whatever that team is, and let's see how that plays out. And imagine how much more revenue could be generated. And that's what the schools need ultimately, Matt. They need to make more money, and they need to spend that money wisely. That's what we've learned. College football at the big-time level has overspent and mismanaged a lot of the revenue that's come from the company I work for and from ESPN. How do you make more? That's how you do it. Become more progressive.
All right, last thing, Tim, and I could probably spend the entire 3-hour show without taking a break talking to you on this topic, because you and I have a lot of the similar opinions, and you've talked a lot about the need for a college football czar or commissioner, however you want to phrase it. If we didn't learn it here, when are we going to learn that?
Isn't this the underscoring point? But, Tim, one of the other things I've said, and I know you don't know that I've said this, but I've been saying this for several weeks on the air, is expand the playoff this year. Literally every other league is doing it. Major League Baseball has expanded their playoff. The NBA basically expanded their play-in just to get Zion in the bubble. I mean, every other league is doing it. You know from a feasibility standpoint better than I, because you work for one of the big networks. Is that even something that is feasible this year to expand a playoff?
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. The only thing keeping it from happening is the stuck-in-the-mud attitude of those involved in intercollegiate athletics. These very presidents that are clearly saying, okay, the only decision that we really know we can make is we're going to wait and hope. Okay, what have we learned through all of this? When it comes to college athletics, no one's willing to tell us why we can't play, and they're not willing to tell us how we can play. They're only willing to tell us, look, we're going to work on a schedule, and we're going to put the schedule out there, And we're going to hope you anticipate it and you get excited. But we're also going to give you this caveat. We don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to just move it back. All right? The NCAA had a chance to do something with their Board of Governors meeting last night. What did they do?
Kick the can down the road.
Well, okay, yeah, we'll go down to August 21st now, okay? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Please, somebody in a position of leadership, do something, okay? And by the way, ESPN doesn't need my help, but they've got an $800 million stake in this. The company I work for has a bunch of millions involved too, but no one's got more at stake than ESPN. $800 million they'll be hemorrhaging if college football doesn't take place the way it should. So they don't need me to tell them that if they do play, then the inventory is increased by having 8 teams in. All of the geography of the country could be involved. You take the heat off of the committee, who has a job that's thankless and will be absolutely torpedoed by everyone when you're trying to figure out, okay, which 9-0 or 9-1 versus this 9-1. What the hell are they doing? Do it now. You've got ample time to do it. The good thing about everything being moved back is that we're talking about December the 19th for these championship games. That's the perfect time to say, okay, well, let's just add a week. We'll just start this thing a week early, the playoff, and it would work. It would work in a heartbeat.
He's Tim Brando on Twitter, at Tim Brando, Fox Sports. Really, really, really looking forward to hearing you on broadcast coming up in a little more than a month.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, I listen. I didn't catch all of the question that you had there, but yeah, we're looking at about a month away from knowing, you know, whether we're going to be playing or not playing. But I do think the wiggle room situation is going to be problematic potentially for the SEC. I almost get the feeling, Matt, that they made this choice on the basis of thinking that it's not going to work and we'll look smarter for it. That we'll start the season, let somebody else start it. It's not going to work, and then we'll look like we're brighter than everybody else because we waited until the 26th. That's my thought, and that's just the way these guys think. At a point in time when the ACC was trying to say, I think we'd like to hook up with the SEC and keep these games going with Clemson, Florida. Those are bus rides, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson, South Carolina, Florida State, Louisville, Kentucky, Georgia Tech. That's in the same. I mean, bus rides.
Mm-hmm.
But the SEC said, you know, they need those games more than we do. We don't need them. We're going to wait a week, and if it doesn't work out, how much smarter do we look than them? That's the world we're dealing with here. That's what leaders are doing that makes no sense. Who's looking out for the big product, the totality of the product? And if the totality of the product right now, if the person that's involved that is the quote unquote czar or consultant, someone that can guide and persuade and share information from league to league, if the determination is, look, guys, you're barking up a tree that we cannot climb, then go ahead and make the maneuver. Do it. And in some of this senselessness that we're seeing, I mean, I woke up this morning and it was one story after the next, and it was like, how much more cold water or dirt can we throw on the college football season? Because all these different announcements are being made hourly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the problem here. And college football allows itself, because of the lack of leadership, to be absolutely tarred and feathered at every turn by the media. And it's happening very regularly. And by the way, most of the media that's doing it wants college football to take place. It's not their fault. I get really tired of hearing people say, this writer or that writer really is anti-college football, and then trying to politicize. I don't believe that for 1 minute. But they are in the business of reporting what the news is. And as long as the news is being handled individually by conferences or schools, it can look really bad. Again, public relations 101, and there's no one teaching it in college football.
He's Tim Brando. He's on Twitter at Tim Brando. Tim, it's always enlightening, man. I appreciate the time. Very, very grateful. We'll catch up soon, okay?
Thanks, Matt. Always good to be in your pulpit.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you. That is Tim Brando, the one and only. Always opinionated, and I appreciate his willingness to speak his mind. Let's react to that. And also, Sean Payton met with the media today. That's coming up. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Carriages in Bocage. CarriagesBR.com, voted by you the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards. So where else would you go? You want that summer sport coat or suit? Carriages in Bocage. Maybe a nice dress shirt, you can find it. The names and brands you know you love. The shirt I'm wearing today is from Carriages. It's Luciano Barbera. It's a gorgeous shirt. I love it. It's comfortable. It's dressy. You can find it at Carriages in Bocage. You want swimsuits? They got you covered. You don't think summer's over, do you? I mean, I know it's August, but we got more months of swim weather. If you want Johnny O brand polos, Peter Millar performance gear, shirts from Eaton, Jack Victor sport coats, as I tell you all the time, the names and brands and styles that you know and love, more plentiful with the best selection and the best staff as well at Carriages in Bocage. Voted by you, the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards. Where else would you go but Carriages in Bocage or CarriagesBR.com?
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flecker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flecker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I mean, I think I'm about as confident as anybody else in the country is right now around the world. I think everybody's just trying to do the best that they can and process the thing and the information as it's coming to them. And, you know, I think the best thing that we can do is, you know, lean on the experts and, you know, take the advice that they're giving to us. As far as players, they have a protocol system, and so I'm just trying to follow that protocol system as much as I can to be as safe as I can for myself and for my family and for my teammates and colleagues. So I think I'm just doing, I feel about it probably about the same as anybody else.
That's Saints All-Pro linebacker Demario Davis. When asked at his media availability about his confidence level in a season, he said, look, about as confident as anybody else. And the Saints, to their credit, are being somewhat innovative. The really odd thing is, if you remember last week, the Saints were one of the final teams to have their protocols approved by the NFL because one of the things the Saints were trying to implement was a sequestered hotel and for camp. And it was something that the NFL would not approve. They didn't have a particular bubble policy per se. They weren't going to do that. Well, Sean Payton, as we found out this week, because of Mrs. Benson and her willingness to do it, she was going to rent out an entire hotel. Instead, they've rented out 4 floors at the Lowe's Hotel in New Orleans as a sort of mini bubble, basically an opportunity for the players to sequester themselves, sort of a safe place where they can go, not with as strict a standard as you'd have in, say, the NBA bubble, which, by the way, had another pristine week, no positive tests in the NBA bubble. They've perfected that model. But this was a way to reduce the opportunity and exposure for the Saints. And the NFL essentially said, no, you can't do that. That's not approved. Well, they made it voluntary, and Sean Payton has said that they got a bunch of guys doing it. Now you're seeing more teams actually implement a similar strategy. Here was Sean Payton talking about the reason behind why they wanted to implement this sequestered location in this hotel.
It was really just looking at the percentages, all right? And if there's 80 players and then another, call it 90 or 95 people, coaching, training, equipment, total number of people in your first or second tier, let's call it 170. So basically every day, those 170 go home and then come back the next day. So you have 170 stories each day. And so you might be, like we were to start, pretty much clean by our players, and yet every day is a new day. And then you take that and you times it by 7. And then you take that and times it, by 4 weeks in a month, and then do the season. And look, statistically speaking, there are going to be. So it's really about trying to reduce the possible exposures, not eliminate.
When you hear the thought process, it makes sense. And one of the things that's so evident listening to Sean Payton in this offseason is he sounds so annoyed. Like, he is a guy that you can tell clearly knows he's got a Super Bowl championship caliber roster, knows what's on the line for him, not just for his players, but his legacy and the franchise and trying to win a Super Bowl and everything they're in and everything they've worked for and all the hours of scouting and developing and trades and everything. And now here he is talking about, is there going to be a season? Is it going to be a limited season? Now you've limited training camp, but there were no OTAs. Like, all of these things that are ancillary when football coaches are such control freaks and they want to eliminate variables and control things, and there's such a part of this that you can't control. And Sean Payton, listen, he was as candid as you could be here. Like, anyone thinking, and this is so important because some people freak out. You heard Tim Brando say this. Some people freak out every time you see another headline splashed about positive tests or this team to stop practicing or whatever. Like, and parts of our media are feasting on that, but of course there's going to be positive tests. Sean Payton said it as plainly as you can.
When you're not in one of those bubbles, then you're going to have positive tests. I don't care all the tracing and all the social distancing and all the beepers you wear or everything that we have in place in the building. You're playing tackle football, you're lockering next to each other, and that's so you just have to understand, hey, there's going to be a certain amount of positive tests. I think we're fooling ourselves if we think that's not the case. And so I listened to Doug Marrone the other day. They had 6 players test positive. The first 4 questions were, was Doug following the protocol? Was Jacksonville? Yeah, sure he was.
Of course he was. But unless you're in a bubble, you're going to have positive tests. So you come up with a plan to move forward amid those positive tests. That's what Major League Baseball did by expanding the player pool to 60, understanding there are going to be positive tests. So here's how we combat that. It's what the NFL has done also by expanding the practice squad and being allowed to sign players back and forth to where you're going to allow yourself more of an opportunity. It's what they've done by eliminating the preseason. They're trying to limit those opportunities for positive tests that could influence the season. So, of course, there's going to be positive tests. You do the best you can amid it to be able to move forward. That's what Sean Payton's saying. That's what everybody's saying right now. The problem is the public reaction to another story about a positive test is so visceral that it's missing the mark. See what happened to Matt Stafford? Did you see that story today? Matt Stafford had a false positive. He tested positive. His family was inundated with hate from Detroit fans. Turns out it was a false positive. Like, we got to step back for a minute and realize what's happening, and there are variables that we can't control. One of the things, just as far as society, that annoys me is people, it's like you have this scarlet letter if you've tested positive for COVID. Like, it's a virus. You can't get rid of a virus. Like, it's going to be with us for a long. COVID's going to, just like influenza, has been around 100 years. You can't get rid of it. You learn to live with it. We're going to have to learn to live with COVID as well. It's just the reality of it. Like, I mean, it's a virus. You can't eliminate it. So it's going to be there. How do you learn to live with it? That's what we're all trying to figure out right now. And the NFL is doing the same thing. One more, though, from Sean Payton about has he had players? We know 2 players have opted out. Anybody else within the organization?
As far as I know, yeah. Look, we don't have a union, and I don't even know, that would be handled team by team. But there hadn't been anybody that has decided to sit out up till this point.
All right. In the next hour, we will talk more about the football on the field with the New Orleans Saints. You'll hear from Demario Davis. You'll hear Sean Payton discussing Drew Brees coming back, the shape that the team in general is in as they're getting ready to hit the practice field. So we'll talk some on-field stuff with Sean Payton coming up, with Sean Payton, coming up in the next hour from right now. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, LSU and Will Wade are loaded. Will Wade went on a national podcast with John Rothstein and absolutely gushed over one of his incoming freshmen. Wait until you hear this. It's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Think real estate? Think Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. If you are buying your home, selling a home, commercial or residential, if it's real estate, think real estate. Think Darren James. You go to his website, agent225.com. All of Darren's listing, they're right there at agent225.com. Tap our listings at the top of the page, and that could be your listing that's getting a live mention on a radio show. That could be your listing that's being shown right now on CST, like that one on Stanton Hall for $249,900, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, just over 2,000 square feet in Easterly Lakes. Check it out right now at agent225.com. Agent225.com. For most Americans, moving is rated among the most stressful experiences that we have. Darren wants to eliminate that stress and get you results. 335-7666. Think real estate. Think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
So we know this year is going to be unconventional. That's probably saying it mildly. But when LSU's major sports take to the field or the court this year, it could be an all-time year for LSU. I know sometimes we have those conversations and we think about 06 where the men's and women's basketball team both made it to the Final Four and the football team won the Sugar Bowl. You can go back to the 03-04 season, school year, where football won the national championship, basketball made the NCAA tournament, women's basketball made the Final Four, baseball was in the College World Series. Like, there have been those years at LSU where the major sports have had phenomenal years. This could be one of those types of years. Man, when I start to think about, we talked about so much the prospects of what LSU football could be this year with so much talent returning off of a championship team. And then baseball, very well. We heard Paul Maneri earlier this week talk about how it could be as good a pitching staff, maybe outside of Vanderbilt, that there is in the country. And you've got a loaded roster again for baseball. I mean, Beth Torina in softball, that thing is just rolling right now. And when you look at basketball, Will Wade was with us on Monday, so this is likely his most talented team, especially with the news that Javonte Smart, Darius Days, Trendon Watford are all returning. Trendon Watford was with Jordy and T-Bob this morning, and he did talk about the feedback that he got from NBA teams and ultimately why he decided to come back.
You know, it was all positive feedback just from doing a lot of Zoom interviews. You know, just doing a lot of Zoom interviews with different teams, and it was a lot of great feedback. But you know, my biggest thing is I want to be a for sure first round pick next year, and you know, just come back and lead the team another year, and you know, just go from there.
Freshman All-SEC, former 5-star out of the state of Alabama, and it's another big for Will Wade. But Trendon Watford echoed what Will Wade told us on Monday, which is that this is the best team Wade's had, and this could be a really spectacular season for LSU basketball.
You know, we know that we can be a special team. You know, we got a lot of guys that played last year, and you know, a lot of guys that played the year before last. So you know, we got a lot of experience, and you know, a lot of incoming guys with talent, and you know, we just got to put it all together, and you know, just go out there and compete.
All right, so you know that LSU is returning Smart and Days and Watford. And Will Wade told us that Brian Penn Johnson, the Washington transfer, they fully expect to have him eligible. They expect Sharif O'Neal to be eligible as well. And we'll see about Josh LeBlanc, but you got a consensus top 5 signing class that includes 5-star Cam Thomas. Will Wade was a guest on John Rothstein's podcast, College Hoops Today. If you want to get excited about LSU basketball, and I understand that it is Wednesday, August the 5th, and most people on Wednesday, August the 5th are dead set looking at Saints training camp and the upcoming LSU football season and how that may look and what a modified SEC schedule is going to look like. But if on Wednesday, August the 5th, you want to get yourself psyched about the upcoming LSU basketball season, knowing what you just heard from Trendon Watford, listen to Will Wade on the College Hoops Today podcast with John Rothstein talking about freshman 5-star guard Cam Thomas.
Well, he's an elite scorer. In fact, I just left the gym and he was came back and was shooting on one of the shooting machines, and on 500 threes he shot 84% on 500 threes. So he's just an elite shooter. He's very mature for his age. He's about his business. He comes in, does the work, and just goes about his business. He's got a very, very workmanlike and mature approach to the game and approach to basketball. And so I think he's somebody that's going to be one of the premier scorers, not only in the SEC, but in the country. And I'm not talking about just among freshmen. I'm talking about scorers, period. I think he's as gifted a scorer as I've seen. And one thing that is very, very impressive about him is he does a tremendous job drawing fouls. He gets to the free throw line a ton. He's able to contort his body and get his body in there and finish through contact and draw a bunch of fouls on drives. So he's a very, very good player and somebody that we're very excited about and can't wait to get him on the court so everybody in the country and everybody in college basketball can see him.
83% on 500 threes. Now, granted, there's no defense out there, but 83% on 500 threes. Will Wade called him as gifted a scorer as I've seen, and he will be one of the best scorers in college basketball, not just freshmen, in all of college basketball. Oh, by the way, John Rothstein wrote a story around the interview with Will Wade and the comments that Will Wade made about Cam Thomas. And his tweet read, story, LSU cemented itself as a contender for the SEC regular season title on Monday, but Will Wade knows 6'3" freshman Cam Thomas could be the key to the Tigers reaching their ceiling. Cam Thomas saw this tweet from John Rothstein and quote tweeted John Rothstein. 6'5". Rothstein mentioned that he was 6'3", a 6'3" freshman. Thomas said, oh, no. 6'5" freshman. You pumped about college basketball? I mean, this is a team that has everything in place. You will have veterans. You will have length. You will have rim protection. You will have scorers. You will have ball handlers. You will have everything. And LSU will be right there alongside Kentucky as the preseason favorite to win the SEC and make a very, very deep run come March. All right, it's after further review. Knock out a quick break. Come back and wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Are you overpaying for your insurance? Do you have proper insurance coverage? Well, there's no way you could know unless if you called Insurance Network of Louisiana. I mean, you realize that no matter how good a person that your insurance agent is at that big company, if it's State Farm or Allstate or Liberty Mutual or whoever you have, they can be great people, family friend even maybe. But that person can only get rates for you from the parent company. Insurance Network of Louisiana can shop dozens of the top-rated companies to get you better coverage for less money. So if you've been with Liberty Mutual, like AFR listener Daniel has for 13 years, you should call Insurance Network of Louisiana because Daniel saved $2,155 for the same coverage. Better coverage, less money. Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
0% for 72 months on all new 2020 F-150s. Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A lot of NFL players, well, I shouldn't say a lot. A number of NFL players are opting out for the upcoming season. Among them considering it is Tre'Davious White with the Buffalo Bills. Of course, was an all-pro this past year, first-team all-pro this past season with the Buffalo Bills. But Tre'Davious White apparently says he is still considering an opt-out. That from the Athletic. It was Matthew Fairburn of the Athletic who's reporting that White is considering an opt-out because of COVID-19. It is worth noting, though, that Trey White, who just earned All-Pro honors, is due to earn $1.841 million in base salary this year, and the Bills have a fifth-year option, which would pay him next year $10.244 million. Opting out would delay all of that by a year. But it's worth noting one way for the Bills to maybe persuade White to play would be to sign him to a new contract. Now, Tre'Davious has until tomorrow, Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central, to make his decision. But the Bills extending him now would be a great way for them to delay his or prevent his opt-out. So something worth keeping an eye on. But if Tre'Davious White did, in fact, opt out, he would be the highest profile player to opt out. I think it's safe to say, surpassing Dante Hightower. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. All this month during August, they got great specials on Pico Wade laser tattoo removal. So if you're like Brain, and when you were on spring break back in like 96, and you got that dolphin on your lower back, and you don't want it there anymore, you can have it removed. It's virtually pain-free. It takes fewer treatments to get it done. So if you want to remove that tattoo, like Brain's seahorse on his ankle, you can get that done this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com. So if you want to get that bicep tattoo of My Little Pony, like Brain got back in 99, you can get that removed this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. You can say something. Don't just sit there and shake your head.
I have none of these tattoos.
You're lying. You've told me about them all and the stories that accompany them.
A brony in 99 would have been ahead of his time, though.
A what?
A brony, like a grown man getting My Little Pony stuff.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah, it would have been ahead of the curve.
But that's a thing that happens?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. It's
you know how you knew that?
How do I know? You know what? No.
Because you got one.
I do not.
Or is the My Little Pony on your hamstring?
I have 0 tattoos.
Because you've had them removed with Pico Way from Aesthetic?
If that's what helps us move to Tigers in the Pros, yes.
Tigers in the Pros!
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Got to start off in the bubble, Matt.
Okay.
Where Ben Simmons is in action right now. 76ers taking on the Wizards. Simmons has 8 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. Let me get an updated score on that one. The Sixers are trailing 69-70 to the Wizards.
It's 74-74 with 32 seconds left.
How is that even?
I'm looking at it.
Okay, my screen is still showing 2 minutes and 34.
Nope.
Yeah, all right.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I just refreshed.
Actually, the third just ended. 77-74, end of the third.
All right. Later tonight, the Nets play the Celtics.
Sixers are winning by 3. I got you, Brain. Don't worry.
I appreciate that. It didn't refresh for some reason. I thought it did it automatically.
You think that's the ink from your brony tattoo seeping through to your bloodstream, making you not as quick?
0 tattoos.
Anymore.
Later,
after you had Pico Way laser tattoo removal from the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana.
Later tonight. Do you have any tattoos?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
What Pico Way laser tattoo removal from the Aesthetic I have the barbed wire around my bicep.
Yeah.
And I had the tear on my eye.
I'm going to get an outline of the state of Kentucky with Mike the Tiger staring it down.
I love it. Like the Kentucky's Best Hemp Tigers in the Pros logo, right?
Hey, later tonight, the Nets and Celtics play, which means Garrett Temple will be on the floor. Potentially Tremont Waters on the floor as well, though he hasn't, I don't think he's seen any playing time in the bubble.
You haven't seen any playing time in the bubble.
In Major League Baseball, Kevin Gausman took an L last night. Why did I phrase it that way? Because you're going to say, you took an L last night.
You took an L
there
last
it is.
night.
He went 5 and a third, gave up 5 hits and 4 runs. The Giants fall to Colorado. Alex Bregman went 1 for 5 last night. Stros win over Arizona. And DJ LeMahieu is just stupid with 2 O's right now. Stoopid. Stupid.
I got it.
3 for 3 so far today. Has driven in a run. No, I'm sorry. Has scored a run. His batting average is up to 459. Yankees actually trailing the Phillies, though, 5-3. I know.
Stupid.
Yeah. Oh, we do have one more from last night, if I could rewind the clock back again.
Okay.
This one hit me up on Twitter. As I'm laying down in bed, my tweet starts going off a little bit, and it's because of this.
That's a rifle shot into the gap. Can't get it. Everybody runs. Seager coming to third. He's going to score. Nola digging for third, and he'll get there.
That would be one Austin Nola hitting a triple.
Austin Nola, triple. I was watching it. I have no idea why I was watching 2 awful baseball teams last night at 11 o'clock at night, but I was.
You got to see a triple.
I was sitting there watching the Angels and the Mariners, 2 miserable baseball teams, who are last and second to last in their very bad division. And I was sitting there watching it.
Now, after that clip, there was piped in. They have zoomed in fans. Is that a regular thing?
I don't know.
It's 4 people. They're
do you think
something happen?
You think I'm spending a lot of my time watching Mariners baseball?
You just said you watched this game.
I did watch it. I had it on. I watched that triple. It was fantastic. Trout homered in his first at-bat of the game.
And that's Tigers in the Pros.
Brought to you by Kentucky's Best Hemp, bestfreehemp.com. Get your free CBD oil. This is not a joke. Bestfreehemp.com. Bestfreehemp.com.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. They are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. And because South Point Volkswagen is Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they do more volume than any other Volkswagen dealer, they can offer you the best deals of any Volkswagen dealer in the state of Louisiana. I know personally because between me and Erica, we have owned, let's see, Passat, CC, Atlas, 5 Volkswagens from South Point Volkswagen. Style, feel, performance of luxury, great gas mileage, 9 IIHS top safety picks, manufactured in the USA at their Tennessee plant. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Gearing up for hour 3 of After Further Review. Quick Sports Center update for you before we get there, though. The NBA said today they've had no positive results for coronavirus from any of their 343 players. Been that way since their initial batch on July 13th when they had all of 2. Hey, here's a weird COVID-19 story. Apparently, John Gruden faked having the COVIDs. According to the NFL Network, members of the Raiders logged on to a Zoom call last week expecting to see Coach Gruden. Instead, they were greeted by the special teams coach who told the players Gruden had tested positive and was in the hospital being taken care of. Eventually, they let the cat out of the bag, but they said that they did the whole thing to raise awareness that this could happen at any time, at any place, any moment. It can happen right now. From the NBA, 76ers are up 82-74 in the fourth. And the Nuggets and Spurs are tied right now. Hour 3 of After Further Review coming your way.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the brain.
And the brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. 5 o'clock. It is quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah. Hump day. You know what? I feel a little bad.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You know, I feel a little bad.
Why are you feeling bad, Matt?
Thanks for asking, Brain. The only person still on the 3rd floor is Jesse Mapes.
It's hump day.
And I like Jesse Mapes.
Hump day.
And I'm yelling and screaming and carry on and bothering Jesse Mapes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
But I usually don't mind yelling and screaming and carrying on for hump day.
It's hump day.
Because my son Drew loves the hump day bit.
Hump day.
Stands at the TV and waits for it. He knows when it's coming.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And
it's hump day.
I get to annoy Dave Rosher.
Hump day.
I get to annoy TJ Solis.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Jordy Collada.
It's hump day.
Blaine Besh.
Hump day.
Everybody on the 3rd floor. Get to annoy them.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
But not right now.
It's hump day.
Because they're not here.
Hump day.
Except for Jesse Mapes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Who I like.
It's hump day.
That's why, Brain.
Hump Day.
That's Brain over there.
You did say it was quitting time.
Who incidentally does have a tattoo of a brain on his left buttock.
No.
Oh, he had it removed via Pico Way laser tattoo removal from the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebon and Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette. Did you know that, Brain?
The addresses? Or did I know that I had a tattoo?
Well, of course you know that you had the tattoo and you had it removed. You had to know you had the tattoo. That's why you went and had it removed.
Well, then, assuming your premise, wouldn't I also have to know the addresses?
Not really.
Well, I would have had to have gotten there.
What's the address of the McDonald's on Government Street?
I don't go to that.
Could you get there?
Well, yeah.
That's what I thought. It's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brain had tattoos. Had. Oh, one more thing. I want to talk about the governor, John Bel Edwards. This is not political. I don't care. But he is the guy that's ultimately going to determine Louisiana moving into phase 3 and 4, et cetera. And that could very much play a role, will very much play a role in attendance at LSU games. But, so Tigers in the Pros brought to you by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Told you this. So Lewis Coleman, former LSU pitcher, Lewis Coleman, married a Kentucky girl. He's done playing. They live in Kentucky now. Her family has this company, and Lewis is running it. It's Kentucky's Best Hemp. They sell CBD products, which, if you're not familiar, it's totally legal. This isn't like THC. It's not marijuana. It's hemp, and hemp has a lot of really good all natural benefits. It can reduce inflammation, helps people with anxiety. If you're watching, there's the little steak bites. Those are dog treats. If your dog has anxiety, like, it can help with that. There are CBD gummies, which you could take. Like, I'll take those before bed sometimes. They will get you to sleep easy. So if you have trouble sleeping, that's a really good option. Anyway, they are giving away, this is not a joke, giving away 10,000 bottles of their CBD oil. Brain, you used the oil the other day. Easy, right? You just get it in a dropper and drop it under your tongue?
Yeah.
All right, so, and that's inflammation, all that stuff I just talked about?
I had a ridiculous inflammation in my lower back, and yeah, it worked like a champ.
Cool. So you can get a bottle of the CBD oil for free. Like, they're giving it away. They're giving away 10,000 bottles. Okay, I'm dead serious. It's not a joke. It's not like you get your free bottle if you're on this list and you spend $20 a month for it. That's not, like, no commitment, whatever. They're just giving away 10,000 bottles of the CBD oil to let people try it. I would and candidly, they're also doing something with another company in Kentucky, like some TV show in Kentucky, and then us. And I want to obliterate them. This is where, like, the really competitive Matt comes out, and things that I care about, I don't just want to win, I want to dominate. And I want to embarrass that TV thing in Kentucky that they're advertising with, and I want to just, like, tenfold. Actually, I would like all 10,000 bottles to go to AFR listeners and none to go to that TV show's people. So help me help you. Just go to bestfreehemp.com, bestfreehemp.com, desktop, iPhone, whatever, bestfreehemp.com. It's simple. It's free shipping, no enrollments, no obligations. You just take your pick. You want natural or do you want cinnamon? You select it and then fill out your mailing info. Look, there's the cart. $0. All you got to do is go to bestfreehemp.com and they'll ship you a bottle of the CBD oil. Bestfreehemp.com. 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 10,000. All right, so I think we all agree they're going to play football because they have to play football. Talked about it for months and months now. One thing that they also need in the Power 5 are fans in attendance. There is not enough money in the TV deal alone to offset the losses incurred by COVID. There needs to be fans in attendance, whatever number that is. Some places you've seen 20%. Some places you've seen projections of more than that. University of Texas said they're projecting 50% capacity. we've had that conversation here as well. Louisiana's currently in phase 2. Phase 2 is 50% of capacity in restaurants and things like that. And so LSU is asking the question, does that apply to Tiger Stadium? It is, after all, an outdoor venue. Could you really limit that number? If they have to socially distance 6 feet apart, that would take the capacity under 20%. As I understand it, around 18,000 seats is what they would be able to seat if everyone had to be socially distanced. Verge Osbury last week on Hanging with Hester and Hanny, though, said if they move into phase 3, which is 75%, and you don't have to apply the social distancing mandate, 75% of Tiger Stadium would be 77,000 people. So that's sort of the big question right now as we start to move through the different phases. And the person that will move our state through the various phases is Governor John Bel Edwards, who last week extended phase 2 for at least 2 more weeks. Here was John Bel Edwards talking to a member of the media from the Associated Press who asked the question about attendance at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, it's not time to go there yet. I can't sit here today and predict what that's going to look like. And I know that there are a lot of aspirational statements being made, and you know, nobody's a bigger fan than I am, and we want football as soon as it's safe to do so, and we want some fans in the stands as well. Exactly what that's going to look like, we don't know, and it's just premature, and I don't want to speculate. But you can rest assured I'll have something to do with what that limit looks like.
He's right. He will. I mean, he's the governor of the state, and governors and then local civic leaders will have ultimately the say as to what size crowds can look like. There's a lot of people who have asked these questions about what these crowds are going to look like in the stadium or tailgating, and there aren't answers right now, even though everybody wants an answer, for the same reason all the way along that we haven't gotten concrete answers about anything to do with sports seasons because everything is so fluid. It's totally possible that after the next 2 weeks, we move from phase 2 to phase 3. And at that point, you'd still be 5 weeks out from the LSU season opener against whomever that might be, which may not even be in Tiger Stadium. It's plausible that there may not be a scheduled game in Tiger Stadium until October. So if that's the case, then you've bought yourself a lot of time to potentially get more people in the stadium. So it will be very interesting to see who ultimately wins that debate. And I'm calling it a debate or labeling it a debate, and maybe that's not the best way to label it because I don't mean for this to come across as sounding like it's going to be contentious between LSU and the governor's office, but maybe it will be. As we've gone through the financials so many times, I would hope that by now, if you're a listener of this show, that you have at least a surface level general understanding of why the financials are so deeply rooted in all of these decisions right now. As I've said for nearly 5 months, they're going to play football because they have to play football. Because if you don't play football, then college athletic departments cease to exist. So they're trying to find a way to make this happen with fans in the stands as best they can. And that's what everyone in college football is pushing for. They're trying to find the yes. And they're continuing to manipulate and to maneuver to make it look however it can to best achieve that goal. And I'll stand firm that they'll have fans in the stands when they play. Because it doesn't make sense to play without fans in the stands if you're LSU or if you're other teams in the Power 5. So, what does that number look like? The governor, as he said, will have a say in that, and he's not ready to make any determination. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. If you want to join us, feel free. We'll open up the phone lines this hour. I got no guests this hour, so if you want to work in a phone call, you can do it. 499-1045, 499-1045, or toll free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. Something else that we learned today is what a COVID testing policy is likely to look like for college football. And I do want to react. We had Tim Brando with us an hour ago. If you missed it, go listen to it on demand. But I do want to react to the Big Ten's schedule announcement today and the first FBS school canceling its football season. We'll get to that coming up later this hour. Also, we'll hear from Sean Payton as he talks about what the work has looked like on field for the Saints as they begin whatever you want to label this training camp type thing they're going through right now. It's AFR.
AFR.
Pull out that ladder. Get up on your roof. Look around. Inspect your roof. You got roof damage? Oh, you don't know what you're looking for. Yeah, neither do I. Or maybe you don't even have a ladder big enough to get you up on the roof. I think I do. Would you even feel comfortable doing that? If you did get up on the roof, would you even know what you're looking for? See, here's the thing. There's only two ways to learn if you've got roof damage. One, you get up on the roof and you inspect it. Or two, you have a hole in your roof and then you ultimately end up with water or rodents or something like that in your home. And the first option is way better than the other. That's where Premier South Roofing comes in. They're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. A Super Service Award from Angie's List. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. A roofing company winning ethics awards. It's Premier South Roofing. They'll come to your house. They'll get on the roof for free to inspect it for you. Premier South Roofing. Check them out. PremierSouthLA.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I'm glad you're with us here. Pumped to tell you about Pluckers. Eat some wings, drink some beer. Watch some sports on TV. Awesome. All right, y'all. Worth mentioning here that one of the big questions about this upcoming college football season is the frequency that testing will occur. If you remember, and I've talked about this quite a bit, one of the biggest stories that I felt was very overlooked is the fact that Brett McMurphy tweeted a couple of weeks ago that players that tested positive would not be required to test again for 3 months unless if they were symptomatic. Josh Kendall of the State, actually, I'm sorry, Josh Kendall's now with The Athletic, who covers South Carolina. He tweeted that the SEC plans on testing players Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays each week. Will Muschamp apparently told him that. Brooks Cabina of The Advocate went to the SEC for confirmation, something Josh Kendall probably should have done. But Brooks tweeted, the SEC does not confirm this. Herb Vincent says in a statement, quote, our medical task force is meeting regularly on developing testing protocols and will be announced when finalized, end quote. So there is that may be something that Will Muschamp or South Carolina is considering doing, but I can tell you the report from Brett McMurphy about players not being required to test for 3 months after a positive is something I had confirmed to me subsequent to Brett McMurphy's report. I'm not breaking the news. Brett broke it. But I asked around, like, is this true? And I had several people confirm to me, yes, that is true. Now, leagues or individual schools obviously are free to do what they want, and maybe that will change. But clearly that shows the desire to keep players active. Because if you have an outbreak, and you lose your whole team for a week or multiple weeks, 14 days, whatever it may be, if you had a quarantine, well, that could shut the season down. So it makes sense why they would want to put off testing if that were the case. So, again, nothing confirmed there. Good job by Brooks to go to the league office to get that clarification. Two other things that I want to get to here. UConn, which just last month officially left the American Athletic Conference and is now an independent. UConn today announced that they are suspending their football season. So UConn will not play football this year. It is worth noting that UConn is an independent, and UConn had games scheduled against Illinois, Ole Miss, Indiana, and Maine that were already canceled. So 4 games on its schedule were already canceled, and games at Virginia and North Carolina were also likely to not happen. So UConn basically saw half of its schedule wiped away. Please do not be deceived. When you see this news today and UConn phrases it that in this tweet and in their release, after receiving guidance from state and public health officials and consulting with football student athletes, we've decided UConn football will not compete on the gridiron this season. Please don't be deceived, y'all. Please do not be deceived by that. The group I have more respect for is the NCAA Division III Council, which came out and said, yeah, financially and logistically, we just can't make this work, so we're not going to play. UConn is essentially saying that no one else is considering state or public officials, health officials, when it comes to making their decisions. Now, the bottom line is, UConn, is half of your season is gone. You're an independent. The rest of the Power 5 isn't going to play you. You have no games. The other very key point in this is that UConn's athletic department, in the most recent data available, generated $79.3 million in revenue total. That's about half of LSU's total revenue, but I digress. $79.3 million in total revenue. Only $2.4 million from football ticket sales. Essentially, football at UConn is financially irrelevant. They're a $79.3 million annual revenue. 49% comes from institutional support and student fees. The majority of their revenue comes from that and from donors. 2.4% comes from football ticket sales. I'm sorry, 2.4 million comes from football ticket sales. Like, UConn doesn't need football. so they can walk away. Because if they tried to field a team that didn't have fans and didn't play a full schedule, they'd lose money. So you can look at the headline, UConn becomes first FBS program to cancel the season. Or you can look at UConn's release where they start talking about guidance from public health officials. You don't have a schedule. You're not having a season because you can't play anybody. You're not in a conference. You're not Notre Dame. Notre Dame is tied to the ACC, so they got a full schedule. BYU's another independent that's got about half of its season wiped away. So what are they going to do? We'll find out. But football means much more to BYU than it does to UConn. I don't think BYU's administration are negligent. They're not consulting with public health officials. They just need to play a season like everybody else does, except UConn, because you stink. We also learned today that the Big Ten has put out its schedule. 10-game, conference only. Each team has 2 open weeks. The schedule has 4 weeks built into it to be able to reschedule games. They've got the opening weekend. That's September 3rd through 5th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those games could be moved back to the 12th, the 19th, or the 26th if they need to strategically sequence. They've built that into the schedule. Michigan, Ohio State is scheduled for October 24th. First time since 1942 that they won't play at the end of the regular season. However, the Big Ten commissioner said on ESPN today that the Ohio State-Michigan game could be moved to the end of the season if, in fact, it needs to be. It could be played November 14th, 28th, or December 5th, or December 12th. That's the flexibility that the Big Ten has built into its schedule, with the understanding that you're likely going to have positive tests. You certainly will have positive tests, and it could influence teams to not have to play in a certain week and then move that game to another point later in the season. That's why they've built in basically a month's worth of flexibility in their schedule. It's very smart what they've done. But there are 2 different ways to look at this. You could either do what the Big Ten did, which is start earlier and have a longer period of time so you have more of a window to be flexible with your schedule, or you can do like what the SEC has done, which is that we're going to still have a 3 weeks built in to where we can move games if we need to, but we're going to start later to give ourselves even more time to let things sort of resolve and see how other things are happening and other best practices. So I don't know that there is a best way to go about doing it, but the one thing that's abundantly clear, I mean, absolutely certain, is if you doubted at all or questioned the lack of organization in college football, let there no longer be any doubt. I think one of the things that's been most telling during the COVID-19 stuff, big picture umbrella, as it pertains to college football, is this has been an enlightening process for college football fans at how disorganized college football really is. Because you don't have, it's not one organization. Every league, and really every school within every league, is its own organization in college football, certainly in the Power 5, and really in all of the FBS. The conferences operate at their own pleasure. The SEC, they're going to play a 10-game schedule, conference only, starting September 26th. The Big Ten, 10-game conference only, starting September 3rd. ACC, 10+1, starting September the 7th, that week. The Big 12, 9+1, haven't named a start date. The Pac-12, 10-game, starting September 26th. ACC, 8 conference games, 4 non-conference games, or as many as 4 non-conference games if they want to schedule them all, starting August 29th. Sun Belt, 8 conference games, 4 non-conference games, starting September 5th. Like, you see my point? You get 10 leagues, and they're all playing by different rules, different schedules, different formats, different time. Like, it's all different. The reason people have called for a college football commissioner or a czar or for college football to break away and be its own thing, this is why. Because how every other sports league has had a unilateral decision made, college football is the one that doesn't. And part of the reason that I'm passionate about it, you heard Tim Brando in the last hour, very passionate about it, and I'm sure many of you are as well, is because we all love college football. We want what's best for the game, for the history, the tradition, the current student athletes, for the fans, the coaches, for everybody involved. But what you have here is a hodgepodge of poop because everybody's making their own decisions for their own selfish best interests, And nobody is agreeing on how things should go about, and everyone's undermining everyone else. I mean, what happened the Big Ten was the first to go conference only. The day after they went conference only, there was a meeting scheduled of the Power 5 commissioners to discuss what they might do. And the Big Ten said, I'm going to be preemptive and just do what I want. What is that? The ACC learned the SEC was planning to go conference only, and so the ACC jumped the gun. They informed last week, the ACC, their schools, what they were about to announce literally minutes before they made the announcement. Ross Dellinger reported that. It's staggering. It's staggering to see the inconsistencies here in college football. And listen, COVID-19 sucks. There's a lot of people that have gotten sick. There are a lot of people that have died, and families that have been impacted. And the reality is we know that COVID-19 isn't going anywhere, and it's going to be with us for a long time. But if we start looking at positives that could come from something like this, and I'm not trying to trivialize it and relate it to sports, but I'm just, in the context of this conversation, maybe this is it. You know, because one of the things that actually did kind of get me geeked today was looking at that Big Ten schedule grid and not seeing Appalachian State or Eastern Kentucky or Tennessee Tech or any of the other garbage games that nobody wants to see that we get crammed down our throat every single year as nothing more than a money grab. And what we need collectively in college football is this. We need more games that people actually care to see. And to look at a Big Ten schedule today and see only Big Ten teams is actually really cool. And you know what's going to be even cooler? Looking at an SEC schedule grid without Utah State or Idaho or Bowling Green or the Citadel or East Carolina or any other team that nobody cares to see play that's nothing more than a money grab. And maybe, just maybe, COVID and everything that's happened herein is the impetus for this kind of change. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but it should. Maybe this is what gets us to more Power 5 games, to broader conference schedules, to less garbage games nobody wants to see, to an expanded playoff, more football that people want to see. That's my hope anyway. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out here. Brought to you by Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in, carry out. You don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. All right, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. When we come back, Sean Payton and Demario Davis talking about how the on-field work has gone up to this point. We'll talk about it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you need dinner plans tonight, Ichiban is always a great option. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Why eat anything other than award-winning sushi? I mean, you're not going to go to the grocery store and get that pre-made stuff, are you? How would you do that? Ichiban's right there. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. You know what they don't have at that pre-made sushi place? The surf roll. Tempura shrimp, cream cheese, avocado topped with tuna, ponzu, sesame seeds, and sriracha chili sauce. You know what else they don't have? The fried snapper roll. Snow crab, avocado, masago, cream cheese, tempura fried snapper with seafood sauce. Find your favorite specialty rolls. There's dozens to choose from, but it's only at Ichiban with 2 locations. Essen near Perkins, the original location. Airline Highway in Gonzales. Go about a mile south of 44 on Airline into Gonzales, and you'll see Ichiban there on your right. Dine in or carry out, whatever you do. Make tonight an Ichiban night.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at
34.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Been a really good show. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. You can go back and listen online at 1045ESPN.com, or you can get to the After Further Review YouTube channel. We'll get to Sean Payton here in just a quick second. Really good convo in hour one with Gabe Fertitta if you missed it. Brain, where is Gabe Fertitta, the head football coach?
That would be Catholic High.
Hey! Lights on? Okay, we don't have to. No, but we had Gabe on for a couple of reasons, and it was timely. They had their Cur Dog Combine, which is a really cool recruiting effort that they did, and it could generate some really big interest from LSU. There are some LSU prospects, including Emory Jones, offensive lineman, on Catholic's roster. We also talked about high school football, the LHSA. The earliest they can start will be October the 8th. So that's a little bit of a bummer. You're either going to have a 6-week or 8-week high school football season. So here's hoping it is the 8-week variety. But we also talked with Gabe about Miles Brennan, LSU quarterback Miles Brennan, who Gabe coached at St. Stanislaus when Miles was in high school. And he gave a really cool anecdote about Miles.
Cam Cameron called me when Miles was a senior and said, man, tell me about this kid and all that. And I'll say this and I'll say it again. I've said it 100 times about Miles. Don't let the surfer boy looks fool you. He is tough as nails. He is a tough, hard-nosed kid, even though he's got the blondie surfer boy California look. He's a good old backwoods Mississippi kid, you know. And I think people would be crazy if they expect him to go out and be Joe Burrow 2.0. I mean, think about Joe Burrow's first year at LSU. It was not the statistical anomaly it was in year 2. But Miles is certainly capable of doing a whole lot in that offense. And a quick short story on that. We were studying some LSU tape, some offensive tape, and there was one particular concept that I really liked. and I had a couple of questions about it. So I texted Miles and said, hey, call me. I got a question about this passing concept. So he called me, and I said, hey, look, I don't want to take up much of your time. I got 2 questions. Tell me about this concept. What's the progression on the coverage, and then about the protection and what? And he rattled off protection checks and coverage checks and adjustments to receiver routes like I was talking to, Joe Brady himself or something, So I fully expect he's got the command of the playbook, the offense, all of that. He's a football junkie. So I think he's going to do dynamite this year.
Great stuff from Gabe Fertitta, who is a straight shooter, an awesome dude, and a phenomenal football coach. Just a little nugget there to get LSU fans pretty excited. Of course, the Saints are in what Sean Payton will not call training camp, but they are gearing up for the season, this month-long build-up, and how the NFL is allowing them to practice, although it's not a traditional training camp and you won't have preseason games. But Sean Payton did talk about what type of shape the team is in as they've come back now to the facility to report for practices.
Yeah, look, we're in the early parts of it, but we're basically lifting and running. We're in meetings, and then in the afternoon we're having a walkthrough of the installation. So, guys are moving around well. They're doing a lot of running, and it's a little different than just putting them flat out through that conditioning test and then kind of coming back with an idea. So we're trying to build up, be smart, and yet, I think overall the logistics have worked. We're handling that well. We'll continue to do that here for the better part of this week into next week, and then transition into, more of a conventional practice.
So speaking of the physical shape guys are in, a lot of guys had to modify off-season workouts. One guy who's looking to build on an amazing year a year ago is all-pro linebacker Demario Davis. This was Demario Davis meeting with the media, talking about how he had to tweak his workouts.
I did a lot more water workouts this year because it was a way that I could train my conditioning and train my body at the same time, because the water kind of recovers you at the same time that you're training. So I was able to train in the water for 2.5, 3 hours and not be, so fatigued that I couldn't work out the next day. And it was a lot of ways that we could train, above the water and train underneath the water, which was 2 forms of conditioning. So now my body is being conditioned. Also, I'm expanding my lungs as well. So those were one of the biggest ways, being a player that plays 90+% of the snaps. The longer that I can go at a higher percentage of my maximum ability, the better I'm going to be for my team.
What a thought that is. Now, and it's worth noting as well, because we've talked about Demario in this offseason, what the expectation could be for Demario moving forward, because you're talking about a guy who's already into his 30s. But if you're talking about a guy who was a 100-tackle guy and all-pro a year ago, who played on an overwhelming majority of Saints defensive snaps, who Pro Football Focus graded through the roof, and he has better endurance this year, that's a really exciting thought for Demario Davis. The other part of that, and this was Sean Payton talking about Demario Davis, is his vision on blitzes, because we've talked a lot about the Saints, how this offseason their pass rush, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And while you may not have, all-pro bookends, you got Cam Jordan, but you may not have another elite guy opposite him yet. What you have is a bunch of guys that are all contributing, and one of them is Demario Davis.
I think he that's something he does well. So some linebackers are pressure players that have a knack for taking on a block or timing it up, and some players aren't as talented at that. But I do think it's something he does well. He's got power. He's got good lower body strength, and I think obviously the experience in our defense. And for him, you see that improvement. We've seen it now since he's been here. And so, I think for him, I'm sure the game has begun to slow down because of the consistency relative to what we're doing terminology-wise and how we're doing it. But clearly, he's one of those guys that that we feel like can impact the game in a positive way when he blitzes.
He was incredible at it a year ago. From the defensive side, flip it over to the offensive side. We all know Drew Brees is in place, and we spent some time yesterday talking about Drew Brees and the work he's done in the offseason, particularly with his deep ball. But there's a giant fan intrigue and just general intrigue in Jameis Winston, a former number 1 overall pick, a division rival coming into New Orleans. And because there was no mini camps, no OTAs, this is the first chance that they've had to get Winston in the building and do on-field work with Jameis Winston. And Sean Payton kind of talked about what they're looking for and how they're incorporating Jameis into the workouts.
Look, he's been in what we're doing meeting-wise, walkthrough-wise, lifting, and we're out on the field during the walkthroughs. So just like everyone else, he's in good shape. He's lean, lost weight, he's lean. He's a guy he's not afraid to work. And, so he's doing well. He's fit in well. Again, we're just into this thing now. Last week we were COVID testing, so he COVID tested well last week too.
If I have one big regret about there not being a preseason, it's we're not going to get to see Jameis. Because chances are we're not going to get to see him much, if at all, during the regular season. Hopefully not at all during the regular season. But that would be my one big regret, is that, and while I'm a junkie, I'm a camp and preseason junkie, like I find it super interesting to see who those final cuts are going to be, who's going to be roster spot 51, 52, 53. Like, I love watching those position battles in preseason games. I also am not romantic about it. Like, I'm perfectly fine with them not having a preseason. But the real big bummer is we're not going to get to see Jameis play in this offense in the preseason. One more, though, from Sean Payton, just generally, how has the on-field work been?
Well, look, we're in the early portion of training camp, and I mean, we're in walkthroughs and meetings. Yeah, we're definitely getting our installations taught, and we're having that opportunity on the field to cover what we've coached. But I think to your question, which is a good question, the ability to focus for each team this year is going to be important relative to the outside, and I don't use the word noise, but the outside things that can pull your focus away from the game. And so it's not until next week that we really get into, really more of a practice setting.
Saints were going to play a week from Friday in their first preseason game at the Los Angeles Rams. Think about it. We would be just 9 days away from a preseason game had COVID not been here. Even the Saints at SoFi Stadium. We're not going to get to see that, but the Saints are doing on-field work, repping right now, and moving toward their season opener against Tampa in the Dome, which is a little more than a month away. All right, it is After Further Review. Glad to have you with us. We'll knock out our final break when we come back. Jimmy Ott will be with us for Otter Locks. He'll tell you who to spend your money on tonight, and we'll do what we learn. Glad you're here. Hang around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We've all been there. You get home from work, maybe from an afternoon out, or maybe it's the middle of the night. But it's the awful sensation of being blasted with hot air in your home. That awful feeling when you know your AC has gone out. And you dread it. You dread it because you wonder, is it going to be a costly repair? Is it going to be an entire new unit? You basically also have to just deal with being in a very hot house. River City's 1 Hour Air is who you need to call for several reasons. Number one, standard maintenance. Just $97. Preseason AC tune-up and rejuvenation. You should have this standard maintenance done every single season to make sure that your AC, the life of your AC lasts, and to prevent potential breakdowns. But if you need a repair, nobody does it better right the first time than River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, let's find out who we're betting on. It's Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
And we welcome Jimmy Ott. Game time with Jimmy Ott coming up 9 minutes from right now in Baton Rouge. Otter, lock of the week.
How you doing, man? Over at Louis
Lithuania.
The hit is right on the way. Your way home to your dorm, Matthew.
Where are you tonight?
Louis Cafe.
Since
1941. I could see your dorm in the background.
Well,
there
I never
you are.
lived in a dorm on campus, but I did visit Louis many, many times. As a matter of fact, I was at Louis a few months ago, so it's a great spot still. They bought like the old, was that the Wendy's or was that the McDonald's?
That was the Wendy's.
It was the Wendy's. So got more space now. Cool bar stools facing the street in the back. Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, the open grill with the bar seating.
Yeah.
It increased the seating. They got more room, but did not compromise the ambience at all.
I think everybody knows Louis. 3 a.m. chocolate chip pancakes and an omelet. That was my go-to.
EJ grew up over here eating chocolate chip dinosaur-shaped pancakes.
Well,
there you go.
Mine were never dinosaur-shaped. Maybe my throw-up afterwards might have been dinosaur-shaped. Not because of the pancakes, but because of what led me to Louis at 3 in the morning to get pancakes.
Oh, we miss Brewerton running Murphy's.
Yeah, man, he was running Murphy's before I was at Murphy's. Actually, Murphy's was closed by the time I rolled around. Anyway, enough nostalgia. Who we betting on tonight, Odd? Well, you got to redeem yourself after last night's dud.
Yes. Robin Hood and Ottingham, not a good night. But take a shot. When the MLB card goes 11-2 chalk, 11 favorites win out of 13 games, we're not going to have a good one. I tend to go to the underdogs. But me and the Mincy man, that's right. Ben Mintz and I have our sixth common pick We are 5-0 on common picks. We do not compare notes when we put out our picks on the podcast every day around lunchtime. We both like the Houston Astros. Astros minus $1.34 at the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks have really, really struggled. They have a heavy right-handed hitting lineup. Robbie Ray, the lefty for Arizona, kind of changed his mechanics a little bit. He is struggling. It hasn't produced any improvement. Love the Astros. Love the Astros minus 34 in Phoenix tonight, 8-10 first pitch.
If you are just dying to get some free money, Astros minus $1.34 tonight in Phoenix. Otter, what y'all got coming up, man?
It's just action all day. Every day is Saturday in the gambling world. I mean, the NHL playoffs started with Florida and the Islanders at 11 a.m. 1:30, you had Memphis. Playboy Marty, another release, another winner today. The Utah Jazz minus 4.5. They win by 9, despite Grayson Allen's 5 3-pointers for Memphis. Memphis 0-4, Matt, and Oklahoma City, Toronto, Boston, Milwaukee. They're staring 1-7, 0-8 in the face, in the bubble. So, and of course they lost, their star who's out for the year. Nice young 1-2 punch with John Morant. I forget his name. Jaren Jackson.
Brand, we got to hold on a minute, bro. Yeah, that's.
But
weird.
the Pellies. When they bringing their red back tomorrow?
Hope so. They better.
Huh?
The red is dominant. I want to see it tomorrow at 12:30.
And Andy has go look at all the golf picks. The PGA starts tomorrow in San Francisco. We got all of our contributor picks, like 4 of them, with our golf picks for the PGA tomorrow on the show tonight.
The brain was trying to kick you out early, but nonetheless, Otter, Game Time with Jimmy Out's coming up
brain.
On ESPN in Baton Rouge, and then on the Facebook page, Game Time.
Lydia Mercy, first ballot Hall of Fame girls basketball coach, Brain.
They got to score a bucket before you can win a game before you be in the Hall of Fame. All right, we'll see you, Otter. Thanks, man. Have a good show.
Thank you.
All righty. Brain, what did you learn today?
That Taylor Calandro drinks seltzers on the beach.
I didn't expect that one from
Taylor. That's a surprise.
But nonetheless, Paul, what did you learn today?
I learned Miles Brennan is not a surfer boy.
That is true.
I hesitate. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brandon.
What did you learn today?
I learned that guys that have My Little Pony tattoos are called bronies. Did I get that right? Bronies?
You did get that right.
And Brain had one on his hip that he's had removed via Pico Way laser tattoo removal at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana with 2 more coming. One at the end of 2020 and another at the beginning of 2021 in the greater Baton Rouge area. So I tell you all the time, if you need bumper-to-bumper auto service or name brand tires at wholesale prices, you need Shaw Bills because they've been doing that for 50 years better than anybody else, giving you the best prices on tires and treating you like family and repairing your vehicle. But right now, I know a lot of people in our community and communities all over Louisiana are looking for work after the COVID-19 crisis. So if that's you, Shaw Bills is looking for you. They're hiring at all locations for all positions, a storefront, or if you want to work as a mechanic in the shop with whatever level of certification you have, paid holidays, dental and vision insurance, supplemental insurance, employee discount, 401k. Have a career, not a job. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern